Hi, it's TK, and welcome to Black Equity Talk, where we discuss topics and issues related to improving the health and the wealth of the Black community. And on today's episode, we have a very special guest. Please welcome the very dynamic Lucky Tuck, who is the Trap Queen life coach and owner of Caught Up in the Moment photo booth services. All right, everyone, I would like to introduce the special guest for today. Her name is Lucky Tuck. She is the Trap Queen life coach, and she owns Caught Up in the Moment photo booth services. Hello, Lucky. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing very, very well. I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Oh, Nick Cannon. Oh, that is so cool. I
Yeah.
never. Yeah, okay.
And
So,
it's a true statement.
it really is. You're so right about that. So let's get into it. I want to first ask you, because people are probably wondering, what is a Trap Queen life coach?
So a Trap Queen life coach came about as, I don't want to say as an alter ego, but as a persona that I took on. And my life coaching is based off of the fact that we all have trauma. And instead, sometimes we try to hide the trauma or we try to push it away. But in fact, it's part of who we are. And sometimes it anchors us and roots us in things that we don't know it, and it's our strength. So if you think of a trap, like a bear trap, and in the middle, it's a delicate thing. So you want to keep balance so we're not caught in the trap. So that's basically what it is. We sometimes lose balance and we become caught in a trap that we ourselves create. So many of my clients are caught in this trap. So we focus on those types of anchors and self-built walls that keep us from achieving success.
Wow, awesome. I love that explanation. So is it, does it have anything to do with a particular culture, or is it just anything that you're bound by?
Well, we know that we as women of color often feel like suffering is our superpower. The more we go through, the stronger we are. So I do focus on all women, particularly with my coaching, but I know that women of color particularly get this message because sometimes we do need to be told, you don't have to go through all of that, sis. That it's okay, that it's not for you. And you're only doing that because a lot of times we're rooted in some type of trauma where we really think we have to go through things to be strong.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Very powerful statement. And I do recognize a lot of people of color, women, have bonds through that trauma. So they're bonded with someone and they think it's really love, but it's really just that attachment to that struggle.
And we become, in a lot of ways, addicted to it.
Mm,
And
yeah.
when you have, because I'm 40 years old, so I grew up during the big crack cocaine epidemic. So a lot of us latch on to things that are harmful to us because we're just used to being around it. We're used to being in turmoil. We're used to being neglected. We're used to having chaos around us. And even when we try to recreate it, we never really address the trauma. And that would enable us to have the skills to recreate something healthier. But we don't. We stuff it away, and then we wonder why we fighting our spouses and mad at the job, and
Right.
not being effective parents when we can be. It's just all sometimes just rooted in one simple incident, or it could be multiple things that have happened.
Yes, that is so, so true. And speaking of relationships and kind of bonding, there's this, I guess, this conversation that's going on in social media about hypergamy and dating up and that sort of thing. What do you feel about that? What are your thoughts on that?
So, being from the trap and all, we
Right.
So I feel like, we as women, we're always gonna, want to pair up with a provider kind of thing, But I think now Black women, we are doing it so hard and grinding so hard that I feel like sometimes the men are dating up on us. You like, I'd be like, you coming up on my girl because you didn't have anything going before you met her. So I think that it's a phenomenon that we're recognizing now because it is happening to us where we are not the ones always dating up. Sometimes we're dating down per se, which isn't a bad thing because you tend to date who you're around. And if you're a boss, everyone around you is a subordinate. So somebody might say, why are you dating him? And it might just be because he allows me to be comfortable outside of boss mode. And I love him for that. But
Mhm.
someone will say that, oh, you're dating down because they expect you to automatically feel equally yoked with someone else who's also a boss. But, that's not always the yin to the yang.
Right, right. And sometimes those two energies don't work anyway together.
Right. But I have been married twice. And so most of my adult life, I have been married. And I could see that people would be like, oh, she's dating up. But, what I feel like I'm bringing to the table, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like
Yeah.
she's dating up unless you're just talking about financially.
Right, right, right. That's a good point too. Um, I don't want to belabor that because that can turn into a whole new thing, but um, just with it seems like women, like you said, are attracted to the provider, and that's kind of what the media or the conversation is telling us. Like, if you have somebody who makes enough money, then they're a provider, they're an awesome partner. And then on the flip side, for the woman, it's like she has to just look a certain way, and that's pretty much all she has to bring to the table, besides like submission and stuff like that. But that's kind of really kind of limiting, I think, in my opinion, limiting what a woman is capable of, what she has to offer. If she has all these wonderful things, why would you want to just limit her to submission and just her looks only?
I just think we're still trapped in a bubble as women, and even especially Black women. Like, I have friends who own properties, they own businesses, they work, they're
Yeah.
educated. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying they can't be submissive. I'm just saying if I've accomplished all these things and I'm sitting across from you, I'm going to want what I want,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it just, like you said, it's very limiting because the person sitting across from me will be like, well, she owns this or she owns that. And it's kind of like, okay, but I'm still this person. And it's very hard to translate that because we live in a society that counts materialistic things over, a lot of the internal things that a person can bring to the table: love or respect or peace of mind. We really value in this society a lot of materialistic things.
Absolutely. That is so, so true. And speaking of some of your businesses, you own Caught Up in the Moment photo booth services. And that's like an interesting field. I haven't seen too many people of color, especially getting into that field. How did you get into the field?
So it actually happened. Had that business for 8 years. We're coming up on our 8-year anniversary this July the 1st. I had a daughter who was sick. She was 8 months old, and she ingested a virus, and her heart failed, and she was hospitalized, and I had to go back to work because that was providing my health insurance, and her dad did too. So I said I wanted to start a business where I wouldn't be tied to having to go back to work. So she survived, and everything is fine. She's now going to be 12 years old, and
Oh,
she's doing
wow.
very well. Yes. But it
Awesome.
really put me in a position to see that when you work for someone else, you have to answer to someone else. And I really at that time did not know what her health was going to be like. So I started a small notary company because I wanted to put her in private school, small group setting, things like that. But if I'm not doing a notary, then I'm not making any money. So at the time I was just, brainstorming, and I saw that people were doing rentals. But in our area, a lot of people were renting tables, chairs, jumpers. It was a saturated market. So I
Mhm.
started looking at what is a big time rental, like a bang for your buck. So I came up with photo booths. So from these last 8 years, we now own 3 photo booths, 3 moon jumpers,
Wow.
and we have, I tell you, probably handed out thousands of pictures. But it's so nice to be a part of people's happiest moments: weddings, birthdays, graduations, sweet 16s. It really counters kind of, the negativity in the world when you are a key part of someone's happiest moment.
Oh, wow, that is so beautiful. I love that story. That's a really good, I remember like those happiest moments and just having those pictures to always go back and remember it. Like it's really important. And I saw your website. You have like virtual photo booth as well as someone, or you can set up at a particular event.
Yeah, we, because of the COVID, we did switch to some virtual work, but we are normally on site. So what we ended up doing for virtual photo booths is we created a link that would be synced to your phone. So you would be the host. Let's say you were the host. You would share that link with the other guests, and your phone or your tablet could turn into the photo booth, and it would save your pictures. So you wouldn't get a printed photo, but at least everyone would get that same template and have a fun way to take pictures, because there were people who, like grandparents, who were not able to come out. So
Mm.
we were giving them something as a way to be able to take pictures, for the little ones and things like that.
Oh, okay, that's good. And
But
that's
soon, hopefully, we get
yeah.
back to being in in-person events, because that's what we really like to do.
Yes, I can't wait. And I think the world is starting to open back up. So we'll see how that works. But it's good that you were able to kind of transition during that time and have another plan. That's good for any business to, when things change, you have to have, be able to adapt to the situation. So,
Yeah, so it was a big pivot for us to not be able to go out. So that's kind of how the moon bouncer was born. It was a big trend in Europe, and it hadn't taken off here, and it was just kind of in the garage. And one day somebody was like, "Oh, I thought I saw you posted this." And I was like, "Yeah, but don't do that kind of stuff." But
yeah,
eventually, yeah, it took off, and it's been steady booking, and other companies have it now. And imitation is the best form of flattery in business, because they drive our market. So now I know the pricing, and I have competition and things like that,
right,
and it
right,
really thrives the market. So I know some people are like, "Oh, well, they're copying you." Yes, but when you don't book with them, you book with me, or they might have something I don't have, or they don't cover this area, and it drives that Google algorithm, and it's a healthy competition between, and a lot of those businesses are women owned. So, it builds a community of businesses in the area.
absolutely. That is wonderful. And you are in California, correct? Los Angeles?
I am in Los Angeles County, northern part of Los Angeles County.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how far do you travel to set up?
So we travel 40 miles. So we go into Ventura County and most of Los Angeles County. But our neighboring counties love us a lot and always ask, like Riverside and San Bernardino and Orange County, but we don't cover those areas, unfortunately, at this time. Because of COVID, we don't have the staffing for it, but maybe soon.
Yeah, definitely expanding your business. That would be wonderful. What are some like your most memorable events or the most touching events that you've done?
So, wow, we give regularly to the Ronald McDonald House because they helped when my daughter was sick. We do Foster Love LA, which does baby showers for foster youth that are pregnant.
Wow.
Um, we give at least 3 photo booth rentals away to like Phenomenal Girls or Single Mom Planet. However, when the COVID hit, I have a son who was graduating from high school, and everything was just like cut, nothing, stop. And so my husband and I turned our front yard into a community graduation. And we had a graduation for TK kids, the kindergartners, fifth graders, eighth graders, all the way up to seniors. We did it all day. We worked so hard. We had a backdrop, we had a red carpet, we had the music, we had fake diplomas. Everybody got to
Wow.
take pictures. We got a complimentary photo booth picture. We rented chairs. It was by far one of the most rewarding experiences because, um, you know, growing up in the thick of things, when you can create something so wonderful that everybody enjoys and everyone comes together with that energy. And at that time, it was riots and George Floyd, and we were able to see these Black and brown kids come up here. And I said, these are our dentists, these are our artists, our lawyers, these are our doctors, these are our musicians, these are our children. And just because COVID said no, and just because the world doesn't love them, we love them, and they see it now. And one of the TK kids came up and he was like, "This is the best day of my life." And he's 4 years old. So I was like,
hopefully he'll have a lot more memories and moments.
Yeah, I was like, you're gonna have such an awesome life. And I'm so happy that at the foundation of your 4-year-old life, we were there.
Definitely.
And then of course the middle schoolers came and act like they hated everything and didn't smile in any of the pictures because they're grumpy 8th graders, And then the 5th graders came, and people came. 5th graders are everything. They came dressed in dresses and suits and all that. I was like, okay, 5th grade is doing it. And then high school, we had what we call a lei ceremony. When you go to Hawaii, they put the lei and welcome you. So we were able to welcome these youth into adulthood, because it's hard transitioning, and then it was hard transitioning during the COVID. So that was a nice thing. So I would say that is by far one of our most memorable events.
Yes, absolutely. That is so wonderful. And like you said, in the riots of the summer, if you want to call it that, or that whole situation, it seemed like it was so long ago, but it really wasn't even a year. But just
it really wasn't.
Yeah, but moments
it
like
really wasn't a year ago. I mean, it really wasn't that long ago, but it does seem like a distant memory because it's almost like COVID put a hand on our clock or something. It just made everything stop.
Exactly, it really did. But I'm sure like moments like you were able to create, it's just just that one little glimmer of hope that you can give to someone that when everything else seems dark around, they have that little light. That's just such a wonderful thing that you're able to do.
Yeah, so that was one of our best events, I would think. We've done, like I said, we've done events for the Ronald McDonald House and Foster Love LA. Doing their community baby shower was awesome too. They had like 8 girls that were pregnant, all under 18, all busting at the seams of emotion and all that kind of stuff. And they got some of everything. They got car seats, baby stuff. One of them had her baby. So just in a room, this was before COVID. So, we all passed that little baby around, and she just let us because she's a new mom and she don't know. I wanted to announce a little side product that we had. Underneath the Trap Queen brand. I have some samples over here. We are releasing a brand of chocolate because I'm chocolate and chocolate is everything.
Yes.
And so the chocolate comes in different flavors, and it says, I don't know if you can see it, it says unbothered. Because for us, this is the year. Let's see if I can take it out of here. This is the year of the unbothered. I'll send you a picture of it. And if you give me your info, I will send you a complimentary piece.
Oh, wow. That is beautiful.
And our signature brand is milk chocolate with pecans. And so we have it actually on a shelf at a Black-owned store in Granada Hills, which is local in our area. And every product in there is Black-owned. So it's very nice. We have these, and we have our Trap Queen mugs.
Oh, I love that. Definitely. I'm going to have to order that.
And so we are just it's a little side project for the Trap Queen Life Coach, because as a life coach right now, we donate our time. So right now, these products are keeping us going. We do an accountability meeting for other businesses. We coach on the side one-on-one. And when I say me, I just mean we and me. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
I keep saying we because I'm caught up in the moment. We do work as a team, but Trap Queen is just me. So
yes.
So fuels us to be able to keep coaching and mentoring in the community. Especially with the youth and things like that. We want to try, especially since the COVID, we want to try to get the youth, the young ladies on track, and keeping them in their truth, because these kids these days struggle with a lot of things, that we just don't know about. My generation just can't. We'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah, yeah.
Sad. Why can't nobody talk? Okay, and then when they do
It's
talk, it's like, shut up. We're not trying to hear this. Not that is not nothing to be crying about for 3 days. But
oh yeah, but everything does seem bigger when you're like going through puberty and everything. But this social media generation, it's so much that they have to see, and they're always having to compare themselves. And yeah, I can imagine it being very stressful.
and I remember growing up, and I remember, everybody has, someone who doesn't like them or anything. But I remember it stopped when I got home. With
Yeah,
social media, it really goes on and on and on and on. And they are addicted to looking at it, because even we are addicted. Like, I have the Facebook app on my phone, and I logged off. But every time I flip my phone open, even to make a phone call, my thumb automatically hits the icon. And I'm like, I'm trying to make a phone call. Why do I need to see? But
yeah,
it's like muscle. So I know that it really is a problem that they're going on there, and likes and being validated and what you look
yeah.
like and how mean people can be during these stages in their life is critical.
It really, really is. And even to that point, when I look at my phone, there's always an alert. So I try to turn off notifications to those apps, but for some reason, it's like I don't turn them all off and I'm still getting them. I'm like, no, don't do that. Because I just want to turn it off. I don't want to see like maybe an hour a day or whatever at the most, but I don't want to be there all day. So
An hour a day? Are you? That is so good. It seems
no,
like
that's
an
my
hour.
goal. That is my goal, but I'm sure I'm on there longer.
Especially with Instagram. I really like Instagram, so I know I'm over the hour on that.
Oh yeah, Instagram is cool. Can you tell us what your social media sites are, even though we're like, don't be on social media, but you have some
Kids need to be on social media. So
yeah.
I have a social media for Caught Up in the Moment. It's at CUITM photo booth. And that has all the images of the events that we've done. And then I have at Trap Queen Life Coach, and that houses the links to the blog and the videos that I have. And that's where people can hit me up for coaching, which is via Zoom now, because the company developed during the COVID. So everything is online still. And then we have at Trap Queen Essentials, where the chocolate and the mugs are available. So we do spend a lot of time on social media trying to post.
Well, when it's
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So most action is with photo booth, because right now it's open season for graduations and weddings, stuff like that. So being in a photo booth business is seasonal, which is a good thing. So
Yeah.
right now we're just focused mostly on that, and and the coaching.
Cool. Yeah, social media does have its benefits. I don't want to, down it all together, but you have to kind of monitor, and if it's getting to you, turn that one off and go somewhere else where more positive interactions and sort of thing. So awesome. There is one question that I do ask of everyone who's on the show, and that is, what is your favorite wealth building activity?
So I would have to say, and I know a lot of us don't necessarily have this, but I really like brainstorming with other people and taking the time to really map out the goal. Because I've made a lot of mistakes and wasted a lot of money jumping the gun, or trying to reinvent the wheel, or not listening and going on a hunch, when honestly, if your goal is C, A plus B normally works. But I want to be like, okay, D and Z, and it just doesn't work that way. So I think that people who are really starting a business, in business, closing a business, or any other goal, you have to carve out time to really brainstorm. And brainstorming comes with getting a village, getting like-minded people around you. You cannot You know, like I say to some people, I'd be like, you cannot get high and we sit up here and brainstorm. You have to get somebody that knows something
Yes, yes.
and brainstorm together. So it's good to build, just like you have a village for people that have, you know, for raising your children, you should have a business village too. And that it could just be just that. We're just coming together for business. We don't have to know all everybody's life story, or we don't have to have to, we're just coming together to brainstorm for business. And you'd be surprised what other people's experiences bring to the table. And it does create a wealth of knowledge, and it creates wealth in dollars as well.
Yeah, you dropped, that's a big one right there. Like everybody should definitely take you up on that advice right there because it saves you so much time in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of energy, because a lot of people are working and they don't see the results, so they, you know, fall off. But that's because they were, you know, working, what they say, working harder instead of smarter. So yeah,
A lot of people think long hours create money, but it doesn't. If you talk to if you get the opportunity to be in a room with a millionaire, you'll really see what working smarter looks like. And they'll be well rested. They check their money first thing in the morning, not their social media.
yeah,
They be in jeans and t-shirts. They're not worried about that hour, 2 hours of getting dressed.
yeah,
They read, and you'd be like, who could read a book? Who has time?
yeah.
They read, they work out. You'd be like, how did you work out and make $1 million? Who
Yeah.
how did you? They'll be reading on the treadmill unbothered because they know that what they brainstorm, they feel solid, they feel confident, they're delegating responsibilities. You know, meanwhile, the rest of us are struggling with the day to day because we are refusing to build that business village, and we're refusing to give up ideas. We're refusing to work together. We're refusing to collaborate because of fear or
Yeah.
bad advice or crab in the barrel. You have to give up some to get some. And
That
no
is so
millionaire
true.
is just making money and not giving away any.
Yeah. Wow, you are really speaking some truth right now. That is really speaking to me because I've been going through that recently too. Like, well, you know, everybody wants me to give, well, not everybody, one person wants me to give all of my knowledge, but doesn't want to share. So I'm like, okay, we got to cut this. But
Yeah.
but what they call a SWOT analysis too. And you mentioned earlier when you have new businesses starting into the same field and they're kind of copying you, but that's kind of like, you know, checking out the competition, the opportunities, the weaknesses, the threats of your own business and your strengths. Like you need to know the good of your business and the bad, and the threats that are coming in your way so that you can prepare. Just like, I mean, I'm sure nobody prepared for COVID. We didn't know about it, but you were still able to pivot. So yeah, you're so awesome. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. So is there anything else that you would like to mention or shout out?
I think I've shouted out all 37 businesses, all the recipes. I'm gonna try TikTok later. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Everyone keeps saying I need to be on TikTok. I never even got a hold of Snapchat, so I'm just like,
Yeah, I miss Snapchat, but TikTok is fun. I don't have an account, but I do watch video.
yeah. So I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna make TikTok a little bit more than Snapchat. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't have a TikTok yet, so I can't shout out that one. But
Okay. Well, when you do, we will definitely shout it out because I'm sure you're going to share so much wonderful information. In this video, you've given us so much. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And thank you all so much for watching. Please check out Lucky Tuck's information. It will be in the description box. You'll see all her social media and website at the bottom of your screen. Don't forget to check out her virtual photo booth if you are not in the Los Angeles area. But if you are, definitely check that out, as well as her life coaching services. So thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Bye.